Welcome back to Media Week. Well, as always on the show, we like to talk about movements in the media space when it comes to management, top positions. There's always a lot of reshuffling going on. So for more on that, let's return to James Manning in the studio. James, we were just talking about the free-to-air networks. Network 10 has actually lost one of its backroom salespeople to a media agency group. What's happened there?
Yeah, look, Sarah Keith is leaving. She's going off to Vivikai, which is one of the, I think they run the trading group for some of the big agencies. So she leaves 19th of June. Not much of a break. The next Monday she's in at her new role. But she's got great media experience. Look, she's worked at Austereo, SBS, Fox Sports, Fairfax, and most recently at 10. So she's been privy to all those media companies, how they do their deals and all that. So the agencies are going to find that experience invaluable. Right, so she'll do well. A
lot to bring to the table there. Now, Alan Kohler going to play a bigger role at The Australian. What's he going to do?
Yeah, look, so they're going to call him the editor at large. So you can see, we'll expect to see a bit more from Alan in the business section of The Australian. They invest a lot of in talent there to get the best people. He's sort of already been in the group though at Business Spectator. He's going to work on integration, some more of that business into The Australian. So we'll see some more cross-pollination, if you like, between the two.
Now, speaking of editors, the editor of The Australian Women's Weekly, a bit unhappy with one of the major talent agencies. What's the riff going on there?
Yeah, look, Helen McCabe, it's with RGM. Interestingly, a business owned by Hugh Marks and Grant Blackley, of course. Grant, we've just been talking about coming into Southern Cross Austereo. It was called a celebrity fatwa in the Sydney Morning Herald by Andrew Hornery. I don't know if it's that bad, but I think Helen McCabe is just a little bit reluctant to work with the agency and the talent they manage. Over an interview they had with Jessica Murray, TV star, you know, worked on some mini-series. I think she's on Love Child on Channel 9. So, yeah, some things she said in an interview, the management tried to take it out and there was a bit of argy-bargy over that. So I don't think Helen McCabe liked how it was handled.
Do these riffs tend to last in the media, do you think?
Well, last until there's really some hot content that you need to have in.
And then you'll let it go.
Well, you sit around a table and negotiate a way out of it.
Yeah, right. OK, talking Apple now, because there's been a lot of big announcements for Apple. What has been some of the ramifications for those announcements for media owners?
Two big things, I guess, was the News app, the new app that Apple have... and they've done a deal with 20 major publishers who will all put their content straight onto this app. As soon as it's published there, it'll on their own, through their own content, whether it's, you know, hard copy online or whatever, it will also come up on the Apple News app, and the people involved is like New York Times, Condé Nast, ESPN, some of the big companies who've signed up for this. I think we'll see more people coming on board in the future. The other interesting one was the Apple Music. They've really overhauled the whole iTunes. It's been given a massive revamp. They're going to start some radio streaming, and they're going to have a global station, which is a great idea. And I'm just a bit surprised no one else has really tried that. So there'll be, I think, 3 or 4 hubs around the world where it will broadcast from, but there'll be sort of wide signal will go globally. So I think it's a great idea there for some existing radio players to look at and go, gee, why don't we do something like that and link up with stations, you know, in London, New York or wherever.
More movement in the media space as well. We were just talking radio, of course, Southern Cross Stereo. With today's hit network, there's been some changes to content managers, right? Yeah,
look, it's been under a bit of ratings pressure, so we're seeing some changes to the Adelaide, Sydney and Brisbane setup. Irene Hume's coming over from Adelaide. She's going to come into Sydney, look after the Today Hit 104.1 brand here. Dan and Maz is the breakfast show. She's worked with them in the Adelaide market previously, did great job with them at Nova. I think they were #1 under 40, might have been #1 overall in FM or very close to it a couple of times. So she's got an experience with that team. She'll come in here. Donna Puchmaran has left Brisbane, so they've got a new content head in there. So, yeah, a bit of movement in the network, and I think they've just got to find someone to take Irene's role in Adelaide when she comes across.
Right, and also BBC Worldwide's promoted Alistair McEwen. He's become Senior Vice President of Commercial Development in Asia and New Zealand.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of great work here on all the... BBC has their finger in lots of digital stuff, a lot of subscription TV channels, so he will still keep his brief across them, but he's going to use some of the good work he's done there across the Asia-Pacific region.
Speaking of BBC, World News study recently revealing that 73% of Australians are now more concerned about world issues. What does this mean?
Well, it's a good stat, isn't it? It means the international news segment of the nightly news, which we get plenty of here on Sky News, but commercial TV maybe overlooks it a little bit, so maybe they've got to reconsider and think, gee, maybe we need to put a little bit more in, invest some more money. We've seen a lot of the foreign correspondents pulled back. A lot of networks now maybe only have someone working out of London whose sort of brief is nearly the whole world, you know. So maybe they're thinking, well, should we have someone else, you know, back in Asia full time, you know? Should we up the resources a little bit, because the audience seemed to have a real interest in it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's talk about MX. It's counting down to the final edition, catching its last train.
Yes, look, Friday this week is the last edition. They've been counting down each day. The newspaper hasn't been going overboard in nostalgia and all that sort of stuff, but there's been slipping in little things. The readers have been sort of seeing tributes. A couple of advertisers this week took out some ads saying, look, we're going to miss you guys. A lot of entertainment companies found it quite useful for reaching that younger demo, which is hard to reach.
Well, had a really popular run there for a while.
Well, you know, it's like you catch a train sometimes, and everybody's sitting there reading their MX, but the numbers just weren't working for News Corp anymore. We spoke to the launch editors just last week, and they said, look, this paper came out when not many people had smartphones, you know. So, but now everybody sort of, if they're not looking at MX, they're looking at their smartphones.
Getting more and more reception under those tunnels as well in the trains. Okay, let's talk the ratings now. Kicking it off with week 23 for free to air. Interesting to see the news take the top 3 spots there. 7 News, 9 News.
Yeah, look, those Sunday news bulletins have really been booming this year. We've been hearing about pressure on the news numbers, but the Sunday bulletins are really doing well.
Married at First Sight show as well, doing well for 9.
Yeah, going off for 9, and House Rules reveals that House Rules numbers this week, we'll see it again on the chart next week. Yeah. It's been really very strong for 7.
All right, let's turn the page, see the rest of them. There they are. MasterChef, of course, making it in there. They're not in the top 5.
No, but 4 of that in the top 6 to 10 for those spots.
10,
so yeah, 10 would be still very happy with that. It's doing well.
Yep, okay, let's take a look at subscription television, kicking it off with the top 5 sport for week 23. No surprises there, James.
No.
Fremantle and Richmond taking that top spot.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, okay, there you go. You watched it. There you go. Let's take a look at the next top 5 non-sport, Game of Thrones. The new Open Slather doing well for Foxtel.
Yeah, look, doing very well. It's been up there top 2 or top 3 every week in the non-sport stuff. Sunday nights at 7:30, if you haven't caught it yet, doing very well. It's got a long run ahead, so still plenty of episodes to go. Game of Thrones, only 1 left.
Oh, there you go. No doubt we'll make it in next week then. Okay, let's talk about some other things we're watching in television. The Helpman Awards will be handed out next month. Now, previous winner Todd McKenney is hosting the awards, and it'll be on a new channel as well.
Yeah, you're going to see that on the new Foxtel Arts channel. So I think it goes to last week of July, I think that is. And it's a great night. If you ever enjoy going to the theatre, it's one show to catch, because if you like the Tony Award, just had the Tony Awards in the US, they were screened here on Foxtel as well, and all the Broadway shows send up, do their best numbers, they perform them on the night. That happens too. All the theatre shows here, their people go along, they'll do one of the productions, and so as well as all the awards that are given out, just some great entertainment on the night. Yeah.
All right, so the Foxtel Arts channel, that one. Speaking of Todd McKenney, there's a new co-host on the show he judges.
Yeah, look,
Who's it going to be?
Shane Bourne, Dancing with the Stars, the show. He's filling in for Daniel McPherson, who said, look, he just wants to focus on other stuff now. He's moving on. It's coming back again for 7. Look, fantastically successful. Look, doesn't do the huge numbers it once did, but still pretty good. And Shane Bourne, I think they chose him because of his experience with live TV. Hey, it's Saturday over the years he's been on. As well as doing acting work like City Homicide, MDA for 7 in the ABC. So he's really got a broad range. So I think people will like him.
All right, there you go. And 7's also revealed the locations for each of its state restaurants in this Restaurant Revolution. Yeah,
Restaurant Revolution. There's going to be a couple more food shows going up head to head.
No surprise there. No. They're loved. Everyone loves the food shows.
Yeah. So look, Parramatta in Sydney is going to be the location. St Kilda down in Melbourne. We've got Brisbane. They're going to South Bank, Adelaide at Victoria Square, and Leederville over in Perth. So if you want to go and check out where these pop-up restaurants are going to be.
Yeah, that'll be popular. All right, well, that is all we have time for on this edition of Media Week. A big thank you to James Manning from Media Week. Thanks for your company.